Good morning, everybody. It's Sunday morning, so time for our regular get together and stamp. My name is Tracy Held. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in Melbourne, in Australia. And today we're going to make this fun little hedgehog card. Now, what I really want to teach you today is how to get your stamps reversed. So obviously this is one of those stamps where your hedgehogs only face one direction and we want them facing each other. So that's what we're going to do. Let's have a look at the supplies that we're using today. So first up, of course, is the Happy Hedgehogs stamp set. Really cute stamp set in the new mini catalogue, and it has a coordinating punch. So that one there is going to punch out that whole hedgehog. This is sort of the top of it, so if you wanted to do that in a different color, then you could just punch the top. I've also got the non-frilly heart from the Hearts Punch pack, and this is the new hexagon embossing folder, hexagon honeycomb rather, sorry. So it's got like the tiny little hexagons on it, which is really nice. I've cut out my words from my playful alphabet, and I'm using the little butterfly from the Brilliant Wings stamp set. Now, most importantly, you're going to need your stamparatus, and you're going to need the silicone craft sheet. Okay, so you're not going to be able to stamp this without that craft sheet. So let's do our stamping first. There's not a lot of stamping on this, but hey, what we're doing is well worth it. All right, so ultimately we're going to need 2 hedgehogs. So I'm going to stamp my one that's facing the right direction first, and I'll show you why I'm doing it now. I didn't want that right in the corner because sometimes right in the corner it doesn't actually stamp really nicely. You sometimes battle to do it, so I've shifted it down just a little bit. I can put my paper right in the corner. Okay, we want that paper lined up particularly for the second one, so that can go right in the corner. So there we go, just a normal step. We haven't done anything different there. I'm going to shift my plate along 2 hinges, and here's where we want that craft sheet. So again, ink up as normal, and I'm going to stamp that onto the craft sheet. Now, I don't know whether I'm just a little bit too neurotic, but I'm going to do it again because I like to have a good amount of ink on the craft sheet. So because we're using the stamparatus and we're not shifting anything, that's going to stamp in the exact same place, which is the beauty of it. I'm now going to put my piece back. I don't need to ink up because with this one we really want the image that's going to be on the back, and stamp again, and it's come across. Now the one thing that you will notice is that your back one is slightly lighter, you could turn it that way, than your original front one, and that's because you're picking up the ink from the silicone craft sheet. So there's no way getting around that, but that's why I actually like to ink it up double so that we've got that extra little bit of ink there. And while I'm stamping, I'm just going to stamp for my insert, and I could use that same hedgehog, but this is the other little one that's in the stamp set. Very, very cute. Now, when you're doing this, you can do this technique with any animal. My next thing that I was going to say to you is that you do want a punch or a die that you're going to be able to punch or die cut it. But the reality is that you don't really need it, because if you were going to fussy cut it, you could fussy cut it. But right now, I'm just going to position it in my punch, and this is the right side, but because we've stamped it and we stamped it exactly, the image behind it is in the exact same position. So even though I'm punching on the right side, I'm getting the exact same punch on both sides. And let's just punch this one out. And this one's going to be only facing one way because he's not double-sided. Don't you love new punches where they go clunk and everything goes flying all over? Alright, so there's my two little hedgehogs ready to go. I'm going to do this card slightly differently. So I'm using Coastal Cabana as my card base. And I'm going to punch 4 hearts. So we've got 2 in Bermuda Bay, and my other 2 I'm going to use Coastal Cabana again. Now, with the red one, what you'll notice is I actually took slightly darker, so this was Poppy Parade, and if you can see, I took cherry cobbler ink and just sponged around the side so that you got that definition, that you could see the differences around the hearts. If you've got 2 hearts of the same color and you're putting them against each other, you don't really see it. But I've decided that what we're going to do this time is alternate those colors slightly, so you are going to see those hearts. I don't need to sponge around the edges there. So let's just stick our insert in. So you may have not seen this in my blog hop. The red card was one that I did specifically for Valentine's Day. This one I'm going to make a little bit more generic. So instead of love, I'm going to put hugs in my heart. And of course, you could say anything. Let's try not to do it for somebody that you're annoyed with, because, I mean, you could swear, but you don't want swearing hedgehogs. They're way too cute for that. Otherwise, you could make 3 hearts and do a 3-letter word. Probably wouldn't go more than 4, because the 4 hearts sit comfortably across the card. Now, with my embossing, you can choose whether you want the side where the honeycomb pops out or where it goes in. I've used both of them on different cards, and it just depends on the day as to which one works better with the card that I'm working with. So now this is, sometimes you get an embossing folder where one side is obviously a right side, but with a lot of them you can choose which side you prefer, and this is one of them. So with this one I'm going to use the side where the honeycombs are coming out. Now this becomes a bit of a joke because I like to position the heart so that I can kind of see the distancing between them, but then as soon as you want to start sticking them, you're lifting them up, so it kind of takes away from positioning them. But there we go, that'll work. I could start from that side, which is probably easier, but because I want them going underneath each other, I'm going to start with the first one first. Okay, I'm happy to see that we've got a couple of people with us today. What do you think of these colors? Do you like the Bermuda Bay and Coastal Cabana combination, or do you prefer the red? You could go with whatever color you like. If you're making this for a friend, pick their favorite color and go with that. I just think that the Coastal Cabana and Bermuda Bay are almost the same color, just different shades of it, so they work really well together. All right, and then like I said, I've cut out my letters. I actually have two lots of the letters here just in case one decided to get lost. And I find that this H is a little bit of a funny H because the bar seems to be really low, but I think that it's better with the bar on the bottom. It just looks, I don't know, too much like a rugby goalpost if we have the bar at the top. So we're going to have the bar on the bottom. And stick the hearts first and then put the letters on, because you're not entirely sure where those hearts are going to be positioned. And if you stick the letters first, your automatic thing is going to be to stick them in the center, but then it may not actually work out that that's the right place for your lettering to go if your hearts are overlapping. So you may want them. I do have another glue here, seeing that that one doesn't seem to want to work for me. And just be careful, because once again, you don't want to put too much glue that it's going squishing everywhere, like that one just did. Bit of a thing with the glue is that it doesn't want to come out, so you give it a little bit of a squish and then you get a great big blob. Alright, so your lettering, obviously your S is going to be directly in the middle because that's the full heart that you're actually seeing. But the others, there we go. Stick. We can pop our hedgehogs up onto dimensionals. Just make sure that you know which one is facing which way. I'm going to put a couple of dimensionals on the back of them. This one gets a bit confusing because it's got stamping on both sides, so that's the one you want to watch out, that you're actually putting dimensionals on the side down. They can just, I mean, if you wanted to, you could have them sort of kissing nose to nose over there. And trying to get them kind of even at the bottom. And I just put my little butterfly in between them. There we go, there was just a bit of the gap that hadn't popped out there. I'm just putting a little bit of glue on the back of the butterfly body. If I wanted to stick this flat, I would have put adhesive sheets behind it, but I actually like the wings flapping free a little bit, so I just want to glue it down. If you want to, you can even curl those wings up a little bit to give it that little bit of movement. Alright, so there's our card. It is really easy to get your your hedgehogs or any other creature facing each other. Do you remember last celebration where we had the sheep? I did the same thing with that so that I could have two sheep looking at each other. So like I said, easier if you do have a punch or a a die that's going to cut it out, but worst comes to worst, if you wanted any creatures looking at each other and you don't have a punch, pull out your paper snips. Those are our cards for today. I hope you enjoyed them. Give it a try. You'll see that it is really easy to reverse the images. If you make them, please post them to my page. I always like to see what everybody's done. If there's anything that you ever see that you want me to make or to show you how to do, please ask me as well. I'm really happy to take your suggestions and give you what you want. So I hope that you have a good day. I think the weather's warming up here again. We had a cooler day yesterday, but it's getting hot again today. So until next week, have a good week and happy crafting. Bye.